Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we are very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on Pop's Block of the Month. It's called, well, I'm calling it because he couldn't quite think of a name of it, and as I was putting the sample or the mock-up together, I came up with Flying Free. So hopefully you like the name as well as I do, and if you take a look real quick how this looks as a full quilt of 16 blocks, this is how it comes together, just like that over there. And it looks quite pretty. I like it. It's kind of like geometric, sort of Aztec-y feel to it. I really, really like it. So this is my mock-up. I love it. I love the colors that I chose. I actually made a Carol Burnett hat, like the janitor hat out of this fabric here, and had just a bit left over, and I thought, why not put it in this quilt? So there's the mock-up one. It's going to go in my pile with the rest of them, and now we're going to build the real one. So if you follow the directions quite simply, let me tell you, right there, as Pop will print out or have available for you, usually via the Sunday after the weekend project. Sometimes it it takes a little time to do some things, and then you'll be able to put it together. It's quite lovely. I can't believe this is the second to last of we're going to have to put together. I'm so surprised. Like literally, we have all the blocks right here. There's last month's. Like, check that out. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, I'm doing a mock-up as well as the original version. So I'll give them all a show real quick here. The stack that I have. They may not be in month order, and I apologize for that. Okay. But just so you can see, we only have one more to do. Oops, I had two there. There we go. There we go. That one. And they all kind of go in a certain way. So hopefully you're just putting your blocks off to the side. Sophie's trying to chew on her stick. And you're going to put them all together like we are too. But if you found a different way, I'd love to know. I'd love to know. So we've just been building each block as we've been going and having a heck of a lot of fun and learning some new skills along the way. Okay. And then this one right here. Like I said, I don't have them in month order, and I apologize. That's just the way it is. Moving things around. So this one here is obviously November's. Okay. All right. Now it's all laid out. You have all your measurements here and what to cut. The only thing I can think of is to, obviously, the F's and the G's are the same. Just flip them, that sort of thing. So if you know you need 8, flip your fabric, right sides together or wrong sides together, and then just cut the piece like that. The key point was, definitely for the centerpiece, they are the same cut. Okay, so it is the same cut that needs to be done. So it's not, you can put the pattern on and get a right side or wrong side together and you're going to get the same. It's not. You need to cut that piece once and then that piece once, okay? Other than that, the rest is pretty easy peasy, and it's going to come together fantastically. I can't wait. I'm very excited by this, by putting it all together. I really am. And I think anybody who has put all the blocks together and has sent a picture or put a picture on the Mama Pop Quilt Shop of all their blocks together in the end, I think they're going to end up winning. Someone who's done it all is going to end up winning at least one of these. It's going to be a beautiful mock-up one as well. All right. Okay, let's start putting this together. So we're just going to go row by row. Okay, it's not really complicated. I've laid it out so you can see, and we're just going to break it down. Like in here, we have the big piece, so we'll add this piece, and then we'll add this piece, and then for this one, we'll add this one, to this one, to this one, and then this one, to this one, to this one, and then we'll add these two together. And then for this one right here, it's a flip and a flop. It's very easy. I really like this sort of image here. It's very, I don't know, it just seems very, very kind of cool to me. I love it. All right, so let's put it together. Yay! Thanks everybody for your well wishes. I pulled a back muscle, and as you well know, once you pull something, you have to feel like a little old lady for the next few days while you're working around it. So, all right, so I'm going to work from the bottom up, okay? So let's just go here. So be patient with me. We're just going to sew this all together. I didn't even do anything ahead of time. Sorry. just line up your pieces. I apologize. We've had some very chilly days. And of course, I've been under the weather with a very sore back. All right, so here, line that one up. Sorry, I have something to drink here. It is juice, though. I wish probably have some water behind me. Okay, go all the way past the end. There we go. So there's one of our blocks. I love that block. Seems like very dramatic to me. Okay, so let's go put that in that spot. And then, of course, for these, I guess we call it the 12 and the 9, or the 6, okay? So that would be the clock of the 12, and this would be the clock of the 6. It's just a triangle piece with some corner piece to flip it out to make it a nice big square, okay? So just line it up and trim your fabrics where you need it. Where it says to trip on one side and trim on the other, then do so. You know, it's all going to line up better in the end, okay? Do you see that? See how that all kind of lines up beautifully? And there should be no issues. Oh, unless you're having a tootin' old machine. Which sometimes Walt likes to be. Okay, so there's one side of our little triangle, and we're going to add the next. And you could do, you know, whatever you want. If you want to do these two first and then the corners or whatever, I'm just going to work from my bottom up. You know, you do whatever it is that makes you happy and that gets you your job done, okay? That you feel satisfied that you have accomplished what you wanted to accomplish and therefore. So hopefully you learn a little bit something from this block. And I can't wait for December's. I'm very excited by this project. We've never done a block of the month before, so this is our very first. So to me, this is a very monumental moment, you know, being this the second to last, you know, where there's only one more left. I really feel like we need to just to enjoy this as much as we can. And then just move forward with this beautiful flying away block. Actually, I passed the idea by Munchkin first, and he agreed with me. He thought that was a nice name. I asked him to think of something first before I gave him my idea, and he couldn't quite think of anything. So when I told him Flying Free, he says, you know, that's very good. I like that because I see birds in it. And I said, perfect. There we go. Done deal. And just to let all of you know that Munchkin is very excited to start his block of the month come January, not September. I don't know where I was going with that. Come January 2019. He is very, very excited. So you'll have to check out his project there. He's going to be making a big, huge quilt. It's something that he's designed, and he will be teaching how the block comes together. Okay? Very excited. I'm very excited. This will be very different for him. There we go. There. Just putting the pieces together. I've lined them up beforehand, so I made sure everybody was in the right spot, and I had every piece, and there was nothing missing from the pile. I didn't feel like I was, you know, had to go searching for a piece to cut or something like that. And because my cream is, you know, it flipped and flopped, it doesn't matter whether it's right side or wrong side, it's all the same. I lucked out there for sure. But when it comes to the pink, you really have to make sure you're cutting enough pieces to give you what you're needing. Okay, so there's one side of the side, let's say the 9 and the 3 blocks, okay? They are kind of a little complicated the way they come together, but if you just build them one half at a time, it's really quite easy. So whether you want to add the big to that or this to that, or doesn't really matter, either or, you know, it'll come together. Okay, and that's why if you lop off those corners, like the pattern says, just pin it and cut it, and I just use my scissors to lop off those little tips, and it lines right up. Okay, so no problem at all. And we are so close to 10,000 subscribers. I am so excited. So if anybody wants to take a moment to share and get people to, you know, subscribe to the Mama Pop Quilt Shop via their page or something like that, that would be awesome. And we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. We're so close. So excited. I feel like I've accomplished something at that point. All right, so let's put this piece here. Flip it over. So we're making 2 rectangles, and that's going to make a big square. That's just the opposite of what's going on here. So I'm just adding these 3, and then these 3, and then I'm putting those 6 together as a 1 unit. Okay. But making sure you're lining up your little curved edges or cut edges to make sure you're going to get the points that you're going to need. Okay. I didn't find any issues with the first block at all. So I thought it went together quite fast and quite prettily. I'm saving to press these once I get those bits together, and then also those together and sew those together. But I like to press them separately. So, okay, so we're just working across. So here, what I did the first time around, I sewed these 2 together first, and then sewed these 2 and those 2, and then added them. So it seemed to be the easier, you know, work on the angle, that sort of thing. You know, get the 2 bigger pieces together, make sure you're lining up your edges, and then just sew down. Yeah, it's not going to line up straight, but it's not supposed to because it's flipped. You know, it's on an angle. So don't worry about it that it's not lining up on the bottom side when it really just needs to line up on the side, okay? Right, see there, that gives you our piece, okay? And then from here to here, I like to say a big thank you to my friend Hallie Kroll. She lives over Copenhagen way across the pond for us. Anyways, she sent me this beautiful little tiny gnome table runner, and it's going to be on Long Arm Wednesday project because I love it so much. I cannot wait to quilt it up. So I can't wait for you guys to see it too. She's such a talented artist, and I really thank her from the bottom of my heart for sending me that. It is so adorable. And I'm not cutting it up. I'm keeping it all for me. I'm a bit greedy. It's too adorable, Hallie. I'm not sharing. Hope you're okay with that. She said if I wanted to, I can cut it in half and share with somebody. I'm like, I looking at it, I said to Pop, I'm keeping that. He was laughing. So thank you, Hallie. I appreciate it very much. All right, so I am putting a pin there. The only reason why is I kind of want to make sure I'm lining up that seam so it's not a distractant or a deterrent from the eye, that the seam is right kind of lined up, not, you know, dog-legged or anything like that, right? So I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing a little bit of a better job, and then when flipping that, you know, at least the seam looks like it's matching up. We have to move that over that way. There we go, that's better. Okay. You know, always do the faux pin or faux sew. Like put a pin in there like as if it was the seam allowance that you were looking for, and then, you know, look at it. Flip it over to see if that seam is what you're going to be happy with. If you're not, then you have the chance to change it without using the seam ripper. So, seam ripper, you're my best friend. All right, let's line that up a bit. We're working on our middle block. There we go. So that piece goes there. And that seam allowance is a tiny, here, I'll show you the small camera here. Tiniest little bit off, but you know what? I don't think it's really going to matter at that point. So here, line this one up. Shift the seam. Pin it, and go. Okay. And hopefully we do better on the second one. Move it here. Okay. Do a little back stitch. Take the pin out. There we go. That one looks a little bit better. All right, so we'll save that for press. Now let's work on this side here. Take the big piece, line it up to that little angled piece, which is called O and N. Okay, O and N. Like I said, because I have the cream material and it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, I could flip and flop. But make sure, that's why I try to make a note of that centerpiece. This really needs to be the same way on both pieces for this one right here. Even though it's labeled I and R, I think that's what it is, I and R, they both need to be laying the same way, the same direction. Okay, so there's our little starting of our half piece there, and then we're going to line up our bottom piece to make ourselves a nice big rectangle, and then we're going to sew those two rectangles together to make a square. Okay. I can't wait to quilt these up. Put them together and quilt them up. It's gonna be so pretty. It's gonna be so pretty. All right, so we're just gonna do this the opposite direction. Not that it really matters. It's not a care in the world which way you lay them out, as long as you sew them together. And we should be just fine for our live stream on Sunday, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you guys and chatting with everybody. I really, really appreciate all your well wishes. We'll be finishing up. We'll finish up the Cardinal 4-patch quilt and figure out what I'm going to do for a border, because I'm out of the Cardinal fabric, but I have more of the green and the white. So I thought maybe doing a little tiny 4-patch on top of each other to do like a little quick little border, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Hey, Mr. Magoo. Hi, buddy. Oh, he might. Sophie's here too, but Mr. Magoo might come say hello. Hey, buddy. Hey, where are you? What side are you going on? Oh, I see you, Sophie. She's Miss Jealous, let me tell you. Every time I talk to the cat, she's right there. Aren't you, Sophie Lovey? I don't know where he went. He was here. I did see him. Must be hiding under my chair. Did he pop up on my step? No, he didn't. Sometimes he naps up there too. Oh, uh-oh. That not good. Whoa. Whoa, SpaghettiOs. Beefy and radio. I'll have to wait till after. All right, so let's line this. Hey, buddy. Hey, you were up there. Hey. All right, just a couple more pieces to put together here. And then this lining up this piece right here. I have been looking after myself. I've been taking it slow and steady, being very turtle-like, which is not me. But I have been, because I know I don't want this to come back, and with a vengeance. I have to say, last Saturday was probably one of the worst days I've ever experienced in my life. Even Pop didn't quite know what to do with himself, because he's never seen me that way before, even when I was in labor with Munchkin. It just was a very horrible, painful experience that I never, ever, ever wish upon anybody. Let me tell you that. Nothing worse than pulling a muscle. And I was only trying to love the dog. I was only trying to love Sophie. It's bending down and twisting and petting and rubbing her belly, and then it was a wrong move. All right, so we're just putting that little triangle piece here. We're just making the opposite one to here, and we're just lining it up where we need to bulk it out to that nice big square. Okay, so where it's the pointiest part, that's where the bulk of the material of the other part's going to be. And then obviously vice versa, where it's nice and wide back here on the pink is where it's narrow with the cream, or whatever colors you're using. So, saw the super cutest pumpkin one the other day, a Halloween themed one for October. I just loved it. I believe it was Allison's. It's, oh, so cute. So cute. Makes me want Halloween to come around again. All right, one more block, and then we start sewing, pressing, and then sewing some of these together, okay? Let's do this other corner. Just take your time. If you need pins, put pins in. I'm a rebel, you know? Rebel should have been my middle name instead of Anne. Okay. And then make sure when you're laying these corner pieces out that you're laying them in the right direction, okay? I had them incorrect when I had sewed the sample together, and I'm like, something's wrong here. Something was very wrong. But I did like it, so I said, you know, to Pop, you know, I like this, even though I know I sewed it wrong. I'm sorry. It happens. Happens to all of us every day. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to give these 9 a press in little bits over here, and then we're going to sew these guys together before we put all of the, like, the big 9 patch together, okay? So let's just take a moment. We'll put this over here so you can see it. And let's just go bottom row, middle row, upper row, that sort of thing, and we'll just press them that way, okay? Okay. So there we go. Making sure these points are down to the outside, okay? They're coming down to these points here. That's making that little kind of, that's why it made me think of a bird. What, you know, hence, you know, freedom, right? Freedom flying, flying free. Okay, and then that's our middle block. Let's do the upper ones first before we press the other ones to get them sewn. Okay. Just give them a little heat loving. Had some beautiful projects come into the quilt shop. So check out us on Instagram, and you'll see some of the pictures there, because I kind of try to post a picture of what we're working on every day in the quilt shop, what's going on. They don't always make it to a video. And that's hashtag Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. And don't forget to check us out on Patreon. Very excited about that. We're should be starting our first next part of our quilt, and it always gets given away to one of our Patreons. Okay, it's called Petite General. All right, so there we go. There's our block in theory. Now we need to just sew these 2 together and then the whole 9 patch together. Okay. And just think how pretty this would look, you know, if you flipped and flopped these, like, you know, that way and this way. I mean, you know, the creativity is yours, right? It's all there. It gives you the opportunity. All right, so you just kind of want to line up the important bits, the seams, going from one block to the next. If you need to put in a pin, go ahead. I'm going to line it up here. Make sure you're coming all the way straight down. And then same with the other side. And then, of course, we'll give those 2 just a quick little press before we put the whole 9 patch together. I call it the big 9 patch. Now, these blocks are 16 inches finished. Not finished, sorry, unfinished, I believe. Unless I am mistaken, which I have been. And then once put together, it's going to make a fantastic quilt. You know, 12 blocks at 16 inches is going to make a big quilt. And of course, you can add a beautiful border, make up your own border, you know, use one of our other blocks, one of these as a border all the way around. We've, you know, designed it that way. So you have the capability and the desire, if you wish. Oops, that goes that way. To do something like that if you like. You know, like this one, you can flip it and flop it. You know, it's beautiful. you know. All right, so let's work from the top down, making sure they are in the correct order, just like the one ahead. There we go. So we'll add this in here, and then you can just give it a little pin. And then we'll do the same over here. We can give it a little pin, and then we'll just work the third row, second and third row. Okay, so here's put that there, but let's grab a few pins so we can do the, oops, sorry, oops. I drop a pin and say oops. Okay, and line that up right here. It's that crucial little point where the little seams are matching, right, sort of thing. So you want to make sure they're relatively close. Okay, so that's that one. And then the last one here, grab a couple of more pins. And making sure they're angled down. These outside outer corners are angled down. It was easy to mess that up the first time around for me. For me, anyways. I mean, you know, shiny object and everything. All right. Now, put that there. And now we're just going to sew these guys together, okay? Each row, all right? Okay, now making it a nice solid row. And then your next side. And then next month we'll put it all together. We'll do the December block, and then we'll put it all together. And then if you guys have any suggestions of what you would like to see as a border on this one specifically, I do have some more cream and pink to work with, so I could probably do a half decent sized border. Or if you just want strips to accent it all, I mean, that's up to you. I can't wait to hear the feedback, that's for sure. Oh, that's beautiful. Very lovely. Very, very lovely. That is right. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, so just do the middle one here. Sew it right down. And of course, I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you feel you need to square things up before proceeding, then do so. Okay? But that is completely up to you. I think as long as you know, it looks similar, go for it. You know, there's only really certain seams you need to make sure you're matching. Other than that, what else is not really going to deter from the eye? I don't think so anyways, but, you know, what am I? Who am I? I'm just a grunt. Happy grunt, though. And see how those are pointing in? What if they pointed out? You know, that could be a totally complete different block to you, you know? Or you can put those as your outside border blocks, flipping and flopping. It looks like you're going this way and that, or like little spaceships or something. Kind of looks like a little bit of a spaceship to me. So. So we're just sewing the third row, getting the blocks together to make the third row. And then we'll sew the 3 rows together of this big, huge 9 patch that we're doing. It looks beautiful. I'm very excited. I have to say it's gone by very, very fast. And I have learned myself a few things along the way via the EQ8 software, or the EQ software. So, very excited. Very excited that we did this, that's for sure. Okay, so here's our 9 blocks with row by row. Now we're just going to put them together, and we're going to pin these seams right here. This one, this one, this one, and this one. We're going to try and make sure we're going to flip and flop those seams so they kind of snuggle together like a big old hug. So 2 go one way and 2 go the other. And then you give it a little pin so it stays there, and the seams are nicely lined up. And it makes for a visual, it's almost like a visual complement. You're not seeing what's not there, you're seeing what should be there, you know, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I hope. I'm just removing my pin just before I get to that seam that I know I need to sew. to shift that over just a little bit. There we go. Let's take a look at that and make sure we got everybody in the pool there on that stitch out. So let's just check after this. And I'm very much looking forward to Munchkin's project. But yeah, it looks like I got everybody in the pool there. Coming up in the new year, I very much am. He's got some beautiful, exciting designs. I've seen a bit of them. That's why, I said to him, I think this would be a good idea for you. And he was all over it. So be excited to see Munchkin come 2019. And he'll be doing his own sewing. I may help him with the cutting just because he's unsure of it, and we want to make sure things are right, but he does know how to sew, so there's no issue there. He can do all the sewing. It's the cutting that as everybody else, when you're helping somebody new, you're more than happy to help with the cutting, to make sure their project is going correctly, right? So that's just the giver of the sewer, the passing on of the knowledge that we have, and we do not mind sharing, that's for sure. All right, I think if I've done everything correctly and it just needs a little press, it's done. I love it. Looks beautiful. Make sure I did things right. Yeah, point in, up, down, around. Okay, let's give it a little press. Little Mary Ellen's press and love. There we go. Oh, it's beautiful. Love it. Good job, Pop. I like this one. I like a lot of them, but this is pretty. I like this one. It's very pretty. There we go. Beautiful. Actually, I think I need to take this in a little bit on that side, or maybe it was just a trim. We'll have to square it up. But there we go. That is our block. Freedom Flying, or Flying Freedom. I forgot what I said in the beginning of the video, but that is the name. All right, take care, everybody. Thank you very, very much, and we will see you tomorrow on the live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, and look forward to seeing you there, and we'll finish up our Cardinal 4-patch. All right, take care, everybody. Big hugs from the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Thank you very much for your prayers and your healing love. Thank you. Bye-bye.